Hey, collective. I hope you've been looking good, feeling good, smelling good, eating good, drinking good, thinking good thoughts, having a good time, sharing good energy with good people, in good places, doing good things. Mmm. Wow. Okay. So I've been getting like a very heavy physical intimacy, like intercourse energy. What I've been getting downloads on is um you and your person is like, oh my gosh, you and your person, there's this like, this, how like the vagina is soft, right? There's something about like the softness of it, the hardness of him. There's a lot of sexual energy, and don't get it twisted. It's not um it's not like in the wrong way, because that's what that's what it's made for. Um, is that an Usher song? That's what it's made for. That song just popped into my head, and then what's been in my head already is the seems like you're ready. So this may have been something that you've been, you know, um, kind of toying with the idea and the fantasies about since this connection started. Basically, it maybe even started on that physical attraction level. Um, where the two of you in this place where you needed, healing, or where you needed, somewhere to go or someone to go to, in the times when you were healing from past hurts and relationships, or having, people, places, and things revealed. You guys were always each other's safe place, that fantasy that you live in with each other. But what I'm understanding is there's something about like that being the final defeat. I don't know if it's just feminine energies that have had this feeling before, but like there have been like, maybe I don't even know who it was, but like I've had experiences where when if my person was cheating on me, then I could feel that. It's almost like the past energies feel it, and they get so, like, I don't know, there's something about heartbreak. But we also know that like that becoming a part of the connection, that physical intimacy, the intercourse specifically, carries a big weight, um, as to what it does in the spiritual world, right? Because if this is two healed people coming together to do it, just imagine what takes place. You're sharing your healing, right? You're no longer in an energy of sharing the past energies of hurt, you know, because you've healed yourself. Wow. Oh, this is too funny. Now, I had seen this card and I was like, ooh, like it's genius to experiment with, and the discoveries of resulting from the eccentricity. And that's in Aquarius. And it's talking about relationships, the beauty of doing it with your partner. This is too funny. I didn't even think these cards were going to be able to. Yeah, something about your like highest ideals. What I'm understanding from this, like, I felt like it's a mutual, I want to get it in. Like there's a mutual feeling of wanting to have intercourse. There is a question, just a question of like, when is the right time? Um, what I'm understanding though, the download that I got is that like you guys will have the opportunity to have those questions answered by one another. Like, you will take the time to kind of say, okay, like to be conscious. That's what it is. You guys will be conscious of the decision to connect that way, saying, okay, whereas some previous experiences, it have been other people harvesting your energy without your knowledge. Um, this is going to be a mutual engagement to use each other um, in the right way. Wow. Yeah. See, this is also, wow, saying your highest ideals, the rules of, because this is one of your highest ideals. Um, That's why it's so sacred, though. A lot of people feel like, you know, having intercourse is, it's nothing. It's no big deal. It's whatever, or I can be with anybody, which a lot of people from the past are realizing like that's not true, because they can't have you. That's a huge part of it for them. But for you, it's like you value this. You value this sacred act, and you want it to be, you want it to be everything, like the highest form of it that it can possibly be, and that's what you're going to get. Because you understand the rules of engagement. Okay, so you understanding that the rules of engagement between you and your person are exactly what you want them to be. It's what you guys decide together. It's built out of a lot of respect, a lot of passion. Now I want to just remind everybody too, like the desire to wait it out and just be in each other's presence, and like not do this very quickly on, not, bed each other on the first night. That is a hard task. That may be why a lot of these relationships were called to have this spiritual connection for such a long time, so that this would be much easier to go into. It says, get it out to the world. Yeah, that's why. That's why it's taking such a long time. Yeah, because it's a full-time job, to serve someone else in that way, like physically. Think about it. Think about how many times you've wasted that energy and been like, ugh, it wasn't even like, ugh. You ever had those moments where it's like you do it and it's like you have this insatiable energy where it's like you just want more and more and more and more and more, and it was because you weren't fulfilled in that. The person wasn't giving, you know what I mean? Even it don't even matter. Like it really doesn't matter. And that's because it takes spirituality to ultimately experience like trusting your psychic knowledge. Oh yeah. And it says resulting from the indecision of or about. Yeah. So like if there's any indecision about it, you're being reminded to understand that this is a blessing that's being granted. It brings in good fortune. Hold on a second here. My phone has an alarm going off. Ooh. It brings in a lot of good fortune because you speak about your indecisiveness, right? Or just about it in general. Having that moment between the two to say, hey, like, I want this too. Or, hey, yep, let's go ahead and get, our STD checks first before we, decide to go in. Where some of you know that you're getting someone that you can fully trust. And you don't have to, go through that process if that's not what you are both being guided to do. There's a mutuality here. And it's like both of you are being considered in this injunction. Wow. Yeah. So basically, as a life or death issue. Yeah. So if some of you see this, like knowing whether or not your partner is a safe, like person to lay down with, to be intimate with, I'm not even going to front here because a lot of people enjoy this pleasure without the protection of prophylactics, just simply because it feels better. That's just the reality. It wasn't made to be experienced with a prophylactic. And please don't get it twisted. Prophylactics do not protect you from it breaking, right? So there's still a chance. And it doesn't protect you from, I want to say, spiritually transmitted demons, because it's a sexual act, but it's a spiritual thing, right? So Yeah. Because yeah. I watch all these random things. Wow. I watch all these random things, and there's this guy who's talking about like he always strapped it up, but he seems in a sunken place too. That's what was odd, because it was like, okay, like I'm watching his videos and stuff, and like some of his commentary, it just seems very low vibrational. You know, even when he sits hunched over with his head facing straight down while he's, you know, got the video playing for his audience, but his head is like hunched down, and like he's on board with a lot of like low vibe stuff. And yeah. And in this instance, what I'm understanding is you guys want to be able to use one another's power. You guys want to be able to use one another's power in the right way. See, and that's why you're connecting with someone who is also healthy, who also has this consciousness, who's also aware of like the spiritual aspects of things. Yeah, this is a way of you like getting closer to God too. There's something about that, of like having this experience and being able to give, I guess there's more sacred knowledge that will be bestowed from the two individuals. Not saying that you haven't already shared that, you know, just in your communications, your conversations, stuff like that. But there's some extra, you know, it puts you on the like the same exact vibration at that moment. And again, this is the first time that you've ever been with someone that's also healed. So there's this level of understanding that this brings a lot into play. Yeah, about who you are, your desires, your actions. There's a lot. There's a lot that's coming in with this. And it went from the first house to the 12th house. Yeah, there's a lot of sacred knowledge in this. The 8th house, which is this card here, is giving a lot to do with like eternity. So there's a lot of sacred knowledge that's going to be shared because it's two healed people. Oh, wow. Yeah, here's that first card again, the genius to experiment with. It's like you're being given this opportunity to experiment with one another's bodies in this way because it's two healthy people. You both desire, you know, this action to take place. You both desire to have this shared experience. It's not like, you know, I'm doing this to go and mark it off on a box and tell my homies, or I'm doing this so I can try to trap you into. It's not that energy. That's why it's different. Oh gosh. That's why it holds so much power. That's why it holds so much power right now. I'm hearing these things actually help the conscious shift within the universe to heal people coming together. Yeah, it may even spark some memories. Like you guys may remember or actually act out some of the things you guys have fantasized about or even talked about, like the mutual things that you guys have discussed doing together with each other. Oh, wow. And it's because you're focused on it being pleasing to one another as well as yourselves. Like it's that not getting lost in the moment. You know, I'm just here to get a nut. I just want to, you know, go to sleep. It's not that energy. It's like I want to experience this. Yeah, I want to experience this. I want to get everything that I can out of it. Yeah, there is some type of memories that are going to come back, but I'm hearing it's ancient knowledge. It's sacred information. It's sacred. Just like the act. Okay? Yeah. There's something, yeah, you've been given a lot of grace to experience this, like with no hang-ups, with no apprehension, with no consequences even. It's like it's just what you guys agree to do. That's the only thing that's required, is that you both agree to do this. Like, and there's a lot of sacred knowledge. I'm doing that from that key too. Everything's turning up roses. Give us more here. Life or death issues. Yeah. So being able to trust somebody like this, to be able to trust somebody with yourself, with your new and improved self, is what I just heard. With your new and improved sacred self. Being able to trust that energy. Ooh, yeah. And so there is something about this transcending out from the two of you. There's that eternity thing that I just spoke of about in this 8th house. This is a bliss that, like, again, it's going to do something. It's going to have an effect on the collective consciousness. This is powerful. This is going to have this universal oneness. Like, there's something that sparks from within you two. And it's not like there haven't been couples before, you know, that are rooted in this divine energy. It's just that with the way the world is today versus the way it was in 1997 or the way it was in 2000. There's a difference because there's been a lot of trust that's been lost in connections from that time to now, from those time periods of time to now. There's like these huge gaps of universal oneness. And that's why a lot of people haven't been satisfied. Ooh, dang. That's why a lot of people haven't been satisfied sexually. Like, that's why we see these STD rates going up. That's why we see, because it lost the tradition. There was no tradition involved in this act. It was just all about, like, is she a 10? Do he have a big one? It's very clouty. Very clouty, which clouted their judgment. There was no sacredness, which is the tradition part. It was like, it's sacred. It's not meant for, look all these experiences here. It's something sacred. Wow. I feel like, and too, this is like, this person is holding this, right? And I feel like this is the divine energies. It's like this tongue was made to, like, lash anyone off that got close to it, because it was only available to someone that also held the same, someone who also glamorizes, okay? Not saying that it shouldn't be, but someone who also glamorizes and has compassion for the fact that this is a sacred act. Okay. But yeah, the reason that the world hasn't had this, hasn't experienced this type of conscious, universal, transcending act, or why the people, seem to be, just jumping from one person to the next person to the next person to the next person, why people are unfulfilled sexually, is because they don't trust each other. There's no trust in that, and there's trust in this. Like, you guys trust each other, and it's also because it's being equalized out by the highest self. The highest self is who wants this. Wow. Okay. The highest self, your highest self desires this. To be connected with another starseed is what I'm understanding. This is really interesting. And that song, Seems Like You're Ready, keeps playing in my head. Seems like you're ready. I cannot make this up. Of all the cards, creation and partnered. Of all the cards. Oh, okay, I'm understanding something else here too. And there's like this truth in the aura. Look, doesn't that look like kind of like a... Okay, doesn't that look... Okay, I'm just focus on this card. So, creation is coming through this partnership. This is a partnership that you two both agree on. This sex magic. And if we're to understand the reason why this holds so much power than, all the other experiences, the reason why it affects the universe the way it does, is essentially because if other people have used sex magic in the negative way to try to encroach on other people's. If two people are equally healed and giving to each other in this way, imagine the effect that that has, where it's like groups of people couldn't overpower you two, right? So imagine the power that comes from connecting these two in the same way. You'll feel a lot like they're, wow, this is deep. This is deep. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna just show what I just started pulling because I was like, what's under here? So there's a lot of truth in this connection. That's why. There's a lot of truth, which gained a lot of trust. There was a lot of truth that's spoken. I don't feel like there's been anything but truth. You know? It lives in your aura, right? And this is essentially resurrecting the sacredness of sexuality, right? That's what it's resurrecting in this moment. It's also a very protected, like I said, you guys will be able to talk about whatever it is. If you both want to go and, get checked, if you guys both just want to, get it in, like there will be a whole, and I'm feeling like it's such a natural conversation. It doesn't feel awkward or anything. This is a future love letter, like to yourself. You've saved yourself for this. You've saved yourself for this. So that you could experience this like this. What I'm hearing is like this, you saved yourself from this. For this goodness. For the sacred act. You saved yourself for this. So that you could do it without like any concerns. Because not often do we walk into a situation, you know what I mean? You've either been holding out or you've had experience where it's like, you meet somebody and it's cool for a minute. There's never really been this like devoted effort. Yeah. And no one's ever carried the same energy, like this cleansed energy of a starseed, like this highest self energy. No one's ever really been in their highest self. This consciousness didn't exist. Oh, wow. Okay. This consciousness didn't exist. Yeah. People weren't really nurturing themselves. In the same way that you guys have been. I've been drawn to this set of cards because I just turned around and saw this conscious entity. Yeah. Friend or enemy. For one who has controlled the mind, it is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, it remains the greatest enemy. So you guys have controlled your minds. Because of course, like if you controlled your mind, you've also controlled your bodies. And that's why you're being offered this. Wow. What is night for all creatures is the time of awakening for the self-controlled. And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. Wow. I'm thinking about it. Most people do it during the nighttime, right? Like that's usually when people are getting it in, right? Ooh. So it's like while people are just starting the process of shutting down shop and realizing, how their energy is being harvested and, all these other things, you two get to create in this way. Like, and by create, I mean like whatever it is that you desire through this act, whether it be, whatever it is. Like you guys are allowed to create whatever you want. I'm seeing the cards in these two hands here. It's like whatever it is, whatever cards you want dealt to you, because this is coming from your highest self. You're doing this as your highest self. That's why you guys are these great souls. Yeah, you went through all of these rebirths. Yeah. Again, it's this rarity of the great souls. It says, after innumerable births and deaths, those who are wise surrender unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that exists. Such great souls are very rare. Yeah, having this sage soul. Wow. I'm understanding that's why you can feel comfortable in this act. It's because, yeah, look, this word, the word encouragement. That's why you can feel comfortable in this act. Yeah. Wow. And it's because you're being devoted to your highest self. Again, future love letter. And this person is in the mirror writing this letter. This act is sacred. Yeah, you've already been through the gates of hell. You've already conquered lust. You've already, done all this work. And it's like, well, why would you waste it anywhere else? It's like, because anywhere else it will be a waste. It wouldn't be the way that it is. It's like you'd just be tolerating that act. You'd be unfulfilled still. But coming together like this with this person specifically is something different. Yeah, because you are both pure devotees. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered to me. And the joy and they derive great satisfaction and joy enlightening one another and speaking about me. Again, like I said, there's sacred knowledge that's going to be shared like spiritually by doing this with one another. Yeah, because you guys have this equal vision, this equal understanding, this equal respect for this act, this sacred act. Yeah. This is another rebirth as well. Ooh, there's something about like it also, because of this going down the way it does, there's something about these doubting souls being pushed into the gates of hell, like pushed right through. So again, that might be why I brought up the energy or the information about like, I could feel when my person was cheating on me, when my person was stepping out, and it might have caused me to like call on their phone and it's like, don't get no answer. And, all these random things that, some people, it causes them to like drive over to the other person's house. But that's because this energy was being met, this desire for sacred union and sacred connection was being met by someone who just wanted to destroy that. Someone who, is in this doubting soul energy. But that's why the energy gets felt the way it does. Like that's why this energy gets magnified the way it does. But it's essentially, there's this protective layer over that. Wow. I'm hearing it brings it all down. Like again, it pushes these doubting souls. It pushes these, individuals through the gates of hell. Yeah. These people that have this restless mind who can't, their mind is unbridled. They can, the ones who can never attain self-realization. Yeah. It pushes these restless minds, these people whose minds are unbridled, that can never attain self-realization. Only one who has mastered the self and who strives by right means is assured of success. That's why you're being gifted this option. Yeah, the spark of splendor is what I'm understanding it to be. Wow. Yeah, this is the gift. Ooh, talk about gifts. Because especially if you've been holding on to your, your semen retention to, not doing it. It's like this spark of splendor. Again, look, this person is playing this. People are bringing things to this person. There are cows laughing and it's just, it brings out into the universe. Again, like I said, it was the consciousness of the collective will be affected by this connection. I'm not going to say that 3 times fast. This spark of splendor. Okay. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Wow. Because this act was never meant to be looked down upon. It was just to be held sacred. This is a part of God's reciprocation. Wow. Again, this is protected, because I was sitting here thinking about like, this is why people have been fighting against this. They don't want you to be the one to behold all of this. They don't want you to be the one to encompass all of this. But again, they could never obtain it because they're not their highest selves. They put that to the side to focus on, I don't even know, because we're not them, right? But essentially, that's why this is so protective. Ooh. Those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, for them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have, both materially and spiritually. That's what this protection is. I want to see the picture of that. Yeah. Wow, this does really defeat people. Look. It will stump. Look at the foot is right on the chest. And remember the other day I just spoke about somebody getting hit in the chest? It's like a foot on their chest. There is something very sacred about this too, because look, there's this ring around this person's hand. It's almost like this is the crowning. This is the crowning. Okay, let's see if I can get one more. Because there's a lot of sacred knowledge in this this act. There's a lot of there's a lot of power. Okay, there's a lot of power that comes in this. Think about it. Have you ever done it as your highest self? Do you, can you really say you feel confident to move forward like this? Because not a lot of people have, nor can they, and so on and so forth. Yeah, this is a part of a big, huge rebirth. Yeah. Look at all of these people around. This is a part of a big, huge rebirth. Wow. Wow. And it has a lot to do with leadership in the area of being, a sage individual, helping people to overcome fear, and then even maybe, wow. It's something about the resurrection or there's something about the wombs. People will not feel the same way about themselves with respect to procreation and this act. It will spark this, maybe even for some people it will spark some shame, not you collective, but I'm talking about the collective outside, those who are teetering and on the fence, and I met someone like that. I met someone at this job that I was working, and we talked about all of these very high level things and, being protected and these past life experiences. And I was like, this person is, on their spiritual journey as well. But the one thing that I noticed about this person was that he was like, yeah, I have I'll just call it familiar. And this was somebody that he was basically he and this woman had agreed to do it together and that they wouldn't do it with anybody else. But I was kind of like, well, what is the purpose there? Is it just because to feed this, desire? Is it because you can't control yourself? And then I often wonder too, is this why he's depressed? Because how could he be certain that this woman wasn't out there being with other people? How could he confirm that this person was a pure devotee? Because you have to be devoted to yourself first, right? Before you can devote yourself to anything else. Oh, yeah, because I felt like it was a struggle for him, because he was like, I'm just depressed. And I'm like, what are you depressed about, dude? He had so many things that were right in front of him that he wasn't finding excitement in. And the only thing that I could see spiritually was that he still had this connection with this person. And she wasn't healed and he wasn't healing, because they weren't devoted to purification, is what I understood. But anyway, wombs of misery came out. See, the pleasures that derive from contact with sense objects are the wombs of misery. They have both a beginning and an end, and thus the wise take no delight in them. So this is, again, this is being devoted to not, this is being devoted to abstaining. This is being devoted to the inner work. This is being devoted to, what I'm understanding is it affects these wounds of misery, the people who are in that energy, not understanding why they're depressed, but constantly sleeping with, either multiple people or just one person, where they're not being fulfilled. They're not being spiritually fulfilled. And for me, it's like, why would I even give myself to someone if I'm not being fulfilled in this sacred act? Like, what are you getting out of it? Just a physical pleasure? So that's that wounds of misery. This is who it helps, essentially. Overcoming fear. No effort on the yoga path is ever lost, nor can any obstacle ever hold one back forever. Just a little progress on this path can protect one from the greatest fear. And maybe that was a great fear. I feel like it's a fear of those who don't want you to experience this, right? Who don't want you to have this sacred knowledge, who don't want you to be with someone that's equally as protected as you, as, resurrected as you, who is as truthful and honest as you. This is something your highest self deserves and wants and needs. Because there's a need in this too. Like, this is a need. It's not just, something you want to do. Because again, you went through that energy of not being, overwhelmed by needing that physical pleasure. That's why you've been abstaining, right? All right. Yeah. This may happen at night. This may happen at nighttime. This may happen at a moment. What I'm understanding is, like, this may happen at a moment where other people aren't even aware, and that's why it hits them the way it does. Yeah. So this is being guarded. This is the part of the protection as well. You see this little rat? It's because people are going to want to try to know when this is happening. They're going to try to feel it out. But what's going to happen is, just like when a rat gets caught in a trap, it's going to be like 2:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. They're going to feel this energy. Again, it's because they kept nosing about, trying to be this sneaky rat energy. That's the only reason why they're going to be met with it, is so that they can feel that, like, hardcore cut, is what I'm being told to say. Hardcore cut. So this is like a hardcore cut of the past energies. This is, again, you saw that other picture where the person was underneath the other person's foot. So essentially, this is the act that defeats that energy entirely. That's why they don't want the two to come together and be in this connection like that. And then what does this have to do with leadership? Let's see. I mean, I can tell you, but let's go ahead and read the card. Whatever a great man does, common men follow. I told you, this changes things on the planet. It changes the vibration that exists because of the sacred knowledge that is being shared between the two people in this act. You've learned things from your highest self, and this other person has learned things from their highest selves as well. Sharing this knowledge, being conscious of that, being conscious of the power that you both hold separately, and putting it together changes things. It causes a shift. The womb is a portal, right? You send a sperm up, you can get a baby out, right? It changes things. Not saying that that's what's going to happen unless that's what you both agree on, right? But at the end of the day, this is that portal energy. That's how it's always been intended, was for the sacred knowledge to be shared while these acts were taking place, and for glorious things, is what I'm being told to say, glorious things to be obtained, explored, accomplished, etc. Wow. Whatever a great man does, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So then, it changes the dynamic on the planet, where other people will want to pursue this type of experience. Wow. Other people will want to pursue this type of experience. Put a little oomph in it. That's how you lose control. Put a little oomph in it. Start screaming and you can let go. Wow. Agreement. Again, you've already agreed with your highest self to do this. You've already agreed with the ancestor, spirit guides, God, the sky creator, all of that, and you've agreed with yourself through the process of purifying and cleansing yourself and being ready for a connection like this and only accepting a connection like this. Start screaming and you won't let go. Oh, baby. Yeah, this communication too that you guys have is like what regenerates this level of excitement, because I feel it building. But again, it's something about like when the masculine enters the feminine, like the softness of it, like the softest grip, like there's something about that. There's something about that like regenerates an understanding. Yeah, being communicative about accepting this ritual, like wanting to take part in this ritual. Yeah, that communication is provides a lot of clarity. It's like, okay, if we do this, what does this mean? What are you looking to get out of this? And what I'm understanding is like, because you guys aren't having the same conversations that you may have with other people, it's like for somebody involved in this somewhere, there's this energy of like an NDA, like I don't want other people to know what I'm up to kind of thing. But at the same time, there's also this energy, or maybe that's something that someone's experienced. Like maybe they slept with, someone of high popularity status or something like that. And they're like, I don't want people to know my business, so you have to sign this. There's something about that too. But there's also like, the agreements are different here. While you'll have that, if that's something that you need, I don't know who that is, but the agreement to like, I want wholeness from this. I want all of you in this experience. I want to experience everything. I want to be able to utilize, whatever sacred knowledge you have. I want to be able to obtain it. I want to be on that vibration. Whatever healing you've had, like that's a part of it, this clarity of this wholeness. Because that's a different conversation, right? That's a whole different conversation than just the STD check and this and that and this and that. And what I'm understanding is like it raises the stimulation between the two. Like it heats things up knowing that like I'm going to get this out of it. Let me put a little in it. Whoo! Ooh. I'm hearing like, you ever had sex and like your whole mind just feels refreshed? Well, if you haven't, that's what you're about to get. Like where everything is like, oh, it's a beautiful day. You're skipping and running around. It's like those moments of brief feelings of wholeness that you may have had with people in the past. This is the true part of that. It's the true part where it's like your aura is enhanced and it's not taken away in the next act, if that makes sense. Like you could have had a moment where this person was really actually dedicated to the experience and it was a great experience and you felt like, skipping down the street or whatever, right? Because some people say that like why they're smiling, like did you just get laid? That kind of energy. But my understanding is because this is built out of truth, there's a whole different thing where it doesn't get removed from you. Because in those past instances, you may have been with somebody and then the next thing you know, when that karmic energy that you guys shared comes back into play, that whole feeling gets removed from the connection. Whereas this is a connection built on these levels of rebirth, right? All of these resurrections, all of these, out of all of these like communications from your highest self. That's why this will be, wow, different. Like, I'm just noticing the number one here on clarity. Like the number one thing is that you have clarity about what this is prior to going into this. That clarity is what brings about the success. And I'm getting 20 and I'm seeing this as like a 1 to 10 for you and a 1 to 10 for the other person because of the clarity that you guys have already. Wow. And because there's no magic involved in this, like there's no magic, I mean dark magic, like there's no love spells, there's no, like this is so pure. You know, have you been with someone that pure before? Very clear emotions about what the intentions are, what there is to gain, what there is to, you know, what the takeaways are. Like, and you both will have those takeaways is what I'm understanding. Yeah. It's like we both get what we want out of this. Ooh, that makes it a very, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's kind of like, I don't want to say addictive, but it does kind of border on that, like this whole, like, it makes it something that you, like, don't, what I'm being told to say is, don't expect for this to be a one and done. You're going to want this again. That's what I'm hearing here. Like, you're going to want this again, especially when you see how it works. Like seeing, like, this is a citrus fruit. And when I see a citrus fruit, I'm always, I'm always reminded of like the brightness of it. Like how citrus is used to, like, you know, bring out the other flavors of things. There's something about that. Like this, yeah, like you're going to want the continued luck from this connection. And I'm hearing like you both are comfortable in that. And see the difference between this and what the guy that I was telling you about, like the only agreement was to just do it with each other. It wasn't in the space of a healed person and being knowledgeable and communicative about what it is you're receiving when you do this act. They were just looking at it as this material level, this wounds of misery thing, you know, seeing it on this plane, like, oh, I have somebody to have this with. They didn't see it as like this fertility, which fertility I'm getting the understanding of like creating new things. That's what I'm hearing here, like creating new things, like being more successful in your business, more successful in, you know, everything transitioning to this new level for you. But there's a lot of clarity of mind. Yeah. There's a lot of clarity of mind that comes through this. Yeah. Like, and it will be continued. Like, if there's a continuedness, there's a continuance of this, because it's going from 25 to 26. There's a continuing of this. Like, if you continue in this act with one another, it's just like more and more and more. Like that fertility, it's just more and more and more. Okay, let me pull out a few cards from this. Overcoming fear, leadership, wounds of misery. Yeah, there's a lot of passion too. Oh, wow. There's a lot of passion that will be constantly resurrected because of the true nature of this, because of like, there's no, you know, there's no falsities, there's no hidden agendas. Yeah. You guys are both passionate about your own transition, like through this experience. What's on the other side of it is what I'm understanding. You understand this to be like a sacred ritual. Corn has been around for a long time too. Yeah. You guys are both very passionate to understand too, and like to receive and know what the sacred knowledge is. Like you both are eager to have that sacred knowledge. This is so wild because it's like this is all coming through sex. Look, yeah. Yep. Wow. Okay. What else is out here for the collective? And getting it in. Woo, woo. Get a little infinite. Like I said, there's a lot of sacred knowledge that will be shared. You have sacred knowledge from your lineage. They have sacred knowledge from theirs. And I'm hearing this is what it brings into the world. There's this productivity for other people to cleanse themselves. Like somehow this is that leadership aspect. Like this is that leadership aspect of it. What I'm understanding is like whatever you've been wanting to see take place, like whatever you wanted to see take place as far as like cleansing from the planet, That's what will be productive. That's what's going to move forward. Like, but you guys both get those. It's kind of like you guys both get those wishes. Like, if you wanted to see less poverty and your person wanted to see less, fighting, those are the things that will be cleansed. This is amazing. Yeah. It's through this regeneration. You guys got some powerful pee. Spirit said, yep, that energy. That good energy. Oh, that's just funny. That's how I lose control. When I put a little oomph in it. Start screaming in the echo. I knew coming into this would be a lot. Yeah. And that's what gives you guys this long-lasting affection towards each other. It's like, well, that might be the reason that things lead to more. Like, not just more of doing it, but more that you desire from one another. Because of how this is rooted, like where it's rooted from. The affection, lasts for a long time. Oh, wow, because you're both very grounded in your spiritual knowledge and your earthly knowledge is what I'm seeing here. Yeah. Understanding, divine timing, I'm also seeing here like divine timing, this is the sun. So I'm feeling like on the planet, it's time for this. And this lasts beyond what people acknowledge or know even. Wow. This rebirth for the universe to really focus is what I'm seeing here. Like for the planet to really focus on their own rebirths. Put a little oomph in it. That's how you lose control. Yeah. And focusing on the duality. I have to look at that definition again so I can make sure I'm always remembering it. Wow. It will also bring a level of understanding too. Maybe this is something one of you guys wanted or the other or both even. Like a lot of clarity with respect to divination. Like this is something that's needed. Like the proper use of divination, because we, people glamorize and, are attracted to all of these stories that we see that come up on our timelines about divination being used the wrong way. Right? We hear a lot of stories about that. We see, how people have used divination the wrong way, how people have used divination, to, take things from other people, whether it be time, effort, energy, love, affection, all of that. And essentially this breeds, like it puts together, look, this love potion. It's like it basically creates the energy versus a love spell. Okay. It teaches people how to create that energy within themselves, like within the purified self. The energy of love, actual love. Put a little oomph in it. After this one, let it go. Let it go. Wow. Yeah. Wow. I'm hearing, can you stand to be blessed? Like, it takes a lot of courage to enter a respectful connection like this. This is funny too, because this is the 14, which is divination, and clarity, which is 1. And 14 subtract 1 is 13. That's very interesting. Interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting. It takes a lot of courage, yeah, to withhold all of this abundance like this. Yeah, to attract all of this abundance as well. All right. I'm being guided to take an oracle. Put a little that's how you lose control. I choose to learn through love. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Put a little oomph in it. Wow. Yeah, when I lean towards love, I'm led something that just said, put a little oomph in it. That's how I lose control. The universe works fast when I'm having fun. So that's something also that, like, the excitement behind doing this, that's why the universe is going to have such a quick response. Yeah. There's also, like, again, this protection. There's a stream of love supporting your dreams. Like, if your dream was to be able to have sex without the guilt or the worry or the concern of it being with someone that you might not be able to trust, or where you wouldn't get anything out of it, and all the rest of that, like, this is that chance, that opportunity, that lifetime opportunity. But it also, because it's coming from such a sacred place, knowing that it's such a sacred act, yeah, is why it has this effect on the universe. I am the dreamer of my dream. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right minded thinking and the energy of love. And that's what this is. It's the right minded thinking about this, this act, this sacred act of having sex, of getting it in, of doing it and doing it and doing it well. Oh my goodness. I surrender to a power greater than me. That's something that you've already done, right? To be in this space, to be this butterfly, because this is not a cocoon here. This is a butterfly. You've surrendered to a power greater than you, and you understand too a lot about the power within you is great. But there's something about this act. This exposes you to a power that's greater than you, because you can't do it to yourself, right? I'm just saying, like, I know for a fact you cannot do it to yourself. It don't feel the same even if you tried. Yep. Understanding that is huge. Knowing too, like, whatever obstacles you overcame to get into this energy, that took a lot of courage. To really look at your highest self, and to abstaining is hard, right? Some people will abstain from all kinds of things except for sex, right? They'll abstain from eating a certain way. They'll abstain from smoking and drinking and going out and this and that and this and that and this and that. And then have this on their list, when this is the creation energy. Think about it. It could create a child. It could create a mess. It could create bliss. It could create all kinds of things. This is sacral chakra energy. And being able to harness this and use it together with someone who also respects your desires as well as has their own, that's a lot of duality there. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Well, you manifest this some good pee. That's for sure. I cannot deny that. Like, there's achievement. Like I said, I cannot deny either. Because think about it too. If your person has been abstaining as well, there's this whole buildup of energy. Start screaming and you won't let it go. Pull it on. Yeah, this should be confirmation for somebody. Wow. I was just told to look over. Oh yeah, and this is the only one that's facing upright. It says, I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with eyes of love. And maybe this is this is the first time that you've actually encountered someone that views this the same way as you. So it's that yin and yang. Like, while you may have viewed it from this perspective and you have all this sacred knowledge about it, like, essentially the reason that these power lines are connecting this energy together is so that you guys can achieve this experience. Like, if it's nothing less than an experience is what I'm being told to say. That's wild. Yeah, so you can see that reflection, so you can get a moment in that energy is what I'm hearing. To see what it is. Like, to have this fun. Because you deserve that, right? There's something about a lot of good luck that comes through this too. Again, like, can it be bad? Like, essentially, you know, having this shared experience with someone who's in the same mindset as you, that's pretty huge. That's pretty huge. Yeah, you guys have anchored in this stability by being patient with your bodies, right? Focusing on your spiritual aspects, taking that chance to, really say, okay, let me see what this higher self is talking about. Let me see what all this higher self is over here doing. Yeah, what you focus on is what you manifested. If you've manifested some great boom boom, some great P energy, yeah, it's what I'm understanding is this is a part of that destiny too. Because why would you be withheld from that? Why wouldn't you receive that? Yeah, that's why this is so protected. Again, protected has come out here 3 times already. Put a little on and 3 different sets of cards. Wow, yeah. A lot of it has to do with like the boundaries that you've put up with respect to like your physical body, not giving yourself away. So those boundaries have led to this knotted relationship, and whatever that means. Because it doesn't have to be, this or that or the other. It's a shared experience that's sacred between 2 people. Whatever it leads to is what you two decide that it leads to, right? It doesn't have to be, it's whatever you're enlightened to after that moment, What I'm understanding is maybe after 3 times. So maybe upon the 3rd time of, yeah, because that's divisible by 3. Yeah. After doing it 3 times, there may be, wow, there may be some divine guidance on, determining how you want to not end this relationship, what you really want this relationship to be, this connection to be. And again, it comes from such a place of like so much wisdom and passion. Wow, so much wisdom and passion. Look, I talked about the butterfly. Yeah, there's this, expect a metamorphosis. Again, this is a portal. The vagina is a portal. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of enlightenment that's shared. Look, this knot in relationships keeps peeking out. Okay. I'm also hearing you guys don't overstep each other's boundaries either. So that's what makes it such a respectful, sacred act. That's why you're able to do this. There's a lot of good luck that comes through this too. Oh, because again, like I said earlier, there's like this balance. There's this yin and yang balance. Balance with your highest self as well is what I just heard. Yeah, this is confirmation of divine guidance. Well, who am I to argue with the divine? Yeah, it's something that the community needs. The community, again, I already explained how it creates, this is a portal. The connection, the sacredness, the understanding of that, the abstinence, the abstaining, all of these things, and how that shifts. It shifts because how often do we know of 2 people being on the same path, the same journey? Like for some people, if you understand that you have dual journeys, and I'm seeing this 2 over here a lot, and then there's 2 3s there. Yeah, if you're, and then there's a 2 right here. There's 2 2s. Okay. So if you're both on your own 2 journeys, it's like the freedom to be able to have there's something here about this like option of being able to bring this to the community. If you know that a part of your your purpose is to really affect the community in a huge way, it's almost like this was built in by the divine so that you would receive, that you would experience this. Because think about it, whatever you encompass, we're all connected. So it's inevitable that the rest of the world is going to feel this connection in some way, shape, or form. Again, this is a portal. The vagina is a portal, right? what's it called? Vas deferens or vas deferens, where the sperm travels through. That is a portal as well. There's something there about that. Yeah. Yeah. This energy is going to be felt throughout communities in general. All right. I hope that this has been helpful, insightful in some way, shape, or form, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.